So, for many of you in this room, our guest speaker today needs no introduction. But let me tell you a little bit about her anyway. The Reverend Dr. Soni Cantrell-Smith is the founding minister of Ahava and a deeply respected spiritual leader whose life's work embodies the heart of the science of mind philosophy. A graduate of Holmes Institute, Reverend Soni is both a dedicated student and an inspiring teacher of the spiritual principles. Her spiritual journey began in 1992 at the Huntington Beach Church of Religious Science in California. And over the years, she has dedicated her gifts to community, creativity, and spiritual growth. For a decade, she served as music director at Namaste Center for Spiritual Living in Long Beach, California, where her artistic leadership profoundly enriched the community. During that time, she also co-authored the musical Last Call, which has been performed in several U.S. venues, leaving an enduring cultural and spiritual impact. With more than 33 years of active involvement in 12-step recovery work, Reverend Soni integrates spirituality with healing, transformation, and liberation. She formerly taught spirituality classes at the Hope Center Rehabilitation Center for Women and co-founded Bluegrass Rainbow Faith Communities, an organization committed to helping faith communities become truly inclusive, affirming, and welcoming to all. A passionate advocate for justice and equality, Reverend Soni has been actively engaged with Black Pride initiatives and fairness, working to advance comprehensive civil rights protections, dismantles systemic racism, and champion full equality for the LGBTQ communities. Her voice has been heard on global stages, including the Parliament of World's Religions, and as a keynote speaker at events such as the affiliated New Thought Network, the International New Thought Alliance, the Chapala Science of Mind Conference, and the New Thought Men's Summit, alongside leaders like Dr. William Barber and the Poor People's Campaign. Within Centers for Spiritual Living, Reverend Soni has served with distinction, including 6 years on the Minister Council, as well as the Nominating Council, the CSL Task Force, and the Interim Ministers Team. She is a monthly contributor to the Science of Mind magazine, sharing her profound insights with global readership. Today, as the organization's spiritual leader, she continues to serve across more than 23 countries, helping to shape the spiritual evolution of this worldwide community. She believes that every individual is inherently a spiritual leader, called to articulate a vision of possibility, nurture it with faith, and foster belonging and hope, so that together we can transform the world. So, without further ado, Reverend Soni.
Thank you. Jesus, she sounds like she knows what she's doing. How y'all doing? Pretty good. It's good to be home. It's good to be home. You know, I look around and I see so many familiar, beautiful faces. Thank you all for being here today. I love you all, and I mean it this time. This is the community that grew me. This is the community that grew me spiritually. I would not be able to do what I do today without this community. And all of you, each and every one of you who has contributed to my life. And I certainly hope that in some way I've contributed to yours. If I haven't, I will keep on trying in some way or another. So I want to start with a little story, and thank you for that introduction. You know, that's the official introduction from Centers for Spiritual Living, which, you know, I'm required for people to read. But y'all know who I am, right? Most of you anyway. If you're new here today, listen, you are important, and you are important in the world, and you are important to this community. So keep coming back. Keep coming back, because the world needs this community right now. The world is in transition, and we were made for such a time as this. Keep that in mind. So one morning, this great yogi, Raman, walked into the woods with his favorite disciple. Is that for me? Phone's ringing. Get a donation if you can. For once, it's not mine. So let me start again. One morning, the great yogi Raman walked into the woods with his favorite disciple. Beneath a magnificent oak tree, he placed a delicate flower on a branch as his target. From his bag, he drew 3 things: a finely made bow, a single arrow, and a white handkerchief embroidered with lilacs. "Blindfold me," he said. The disciple did as he was told, even though he had watched countless demonstrations of Raman's extraordinary skill. With his eyes covered, Raman stood 100 paces from the oak, pulled the bowstring, and released the arrow. It whistled through the air and didn't even come close to hitting the tree. When the blindfold came off, the disciple said, "I thought you were going to show me the power of your thought. You were going to do something miraculous." Raman's calm reply is the heart of what I want to talk about today. When you want something, concentrate only on that. No one will ever hit a target they cannot see. The error in this story, the reason the arrow missed, wasn't skill. It was vision. Without sight of the target, all the strength and the technique in the world could not direct the arrow where it needed to go. To put it another way, where there is no vision, the people perish. When people lack vision, when they can't see the future they're creating, their energy dissipates, their initiative falters, and even well-intended action fails to create meaningful progress. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Science of Mind movement, understood the creative power of clear intention and mental image. He taught that where the mind goes, energy flows, and that life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. Holmes also pointed out that the mind shapes reality through focused, sustained attention and purposeful belief. But we cannot just shape reality through our mind alone. We must also act. If we do not see clearly what we want, our energy has no structure in which to take creative form. With penetrating vision, you can dissipate the obstruction, remove the obstacle, and work to dissolve the condition. And I want you to think about this. Vision dissolves the fog. It is the compass that turns effort into direction, intention into manifestation, and potential into real, honest achievement. And let me be real with you all this morning. I would be standing here lying to you if I didn't acknowledge that this community has been struggling. Struggle is real. It comes with loss and unmet expectations, confusion, fear, and the weight of unhealed history. Struggle doesn't always feel noble, does it? It often feels like resistance, like being off course, maybe even being stuck. But struggle is not the opposite of vision. Struggle prepares us for a deeper vision. In my own spiritual journey, from the first stirrings of curiosity in 1992 to my unfolding ministry as the spiritual leader for Centers for Spiritual Living, I have learned something profound. In the midst of struggle, we learn what matters most, what must be released and what must be embraced. And what we must release is resentments. We must release resentments or we cannot embrace anything. Because when we hold on to resentments, it's like putting a blindfold over our eyes, refusing to see the very vision that is calling us forward. Therefore, before a vision can take shape in our lives, there are two essential thresholds we must all pass through, whether it is individually or collectively. Letting go of the past and letting go of resentment. This clears the lens of memory so that we are not still seeing yesterday's shadow when today is begging you for the light. And please keep in mind, none of us are perfect. Most of us, 90% of the time, are doing the very best we can. We all make mistakes. Don't everybody shout out mine. All right, hang on here. I certainly have made enough in my lifetime, especially right here in this community. And sometimes we all need just a little bit of grace. And I know that there are some of you here today, maybe I'm the only one, that are holding on to resentments or have not yet forgiven some people or even ourselves for past decisions and actions. But please think about this. The way things often turn into resentments is because we are afraid to express our feelings or our needs. Rather than telling the truth of our experience, we avoid difficult conversations. And as a result, we allow the initial hurt to fester into an open wound of resentment. But there is a way through. In 12-step work, we are taught in order to free ourselves from resentment, we pray for the person we resent to have everything we ever wanted. I'm just thinking if we all did that work, there'd be a lot of people here getting things they never thought they would receive. But this work is necessary for us to maintain our sobriety. And it is the work necessary if we want to envision a clear vision ahead. And friends, it's time. It's time to step into the future with a new vision, bold and clear and anchored in what we are willing to become, who we are willing to become, and ask the question, what is ours to do? Individually and as a community, what is ours to do? I am asking, no, let me say, I am begging you to embrace the idea that vision dissolves that fog of struggle because a clear picture of what is possible shines light into every dark corner of fear and doubt. It doesn't erase difficulty, but it gives struggle meaning and context. It tells the brain and it tells our heart and our soul and our spirit that in this moment of resistance, it is not the final destination. It is the ancestor of a breakthrough. When you can see where you are going, struggle becomes a bridge and not a blockade. Now, Dr. Holmes said, we have within us a power greater than anything we shall ever contact in the outer. And this power can overcome every obstacle in our life and set us safe and satisfied and at peace and healed and prosperous in a new light and a new life. And he also said, let us remember that true prayer is always universal. There can be no good to us alone, only as that good is for all. And so right now, in our honesty about struggle, I invite us all to choose to see not just where we've been, but where we are being called to go. Choose to see beyond the immediate fog to the horizon that is forming in the soul of this community. In doing so, Ahava has the opportunity to harness not only its collective strength, but its collective calling, its collective light, its collective future, because rooted in forgiveness and forward motion, we all find not an end to struggle, but a way through it. You know, in spiritual communities and organizations or any collective undertaking, the danger is not in moving forward, it is moving without shared sight of the target. We can be busy, and we can be earnest, and we can even be well-intended, but without vision, we risk actions that are scattered, fragmented, or pulled by the loudest impulses rather than the deepest truths. And we forget to practice principles. We forget to practice the truth of oneness, the truth that love is always the answer. Holmes urged us to imagine our highest future clearly, to hold it firmly in our mind, and then act as if it was already real. This is not magical thinking, folks. This is a creative intention guided by a vision that we all agree to. Wake up, step up, and make a difference. Did we agree to that? Are we doing that? When Ahava opened its doors in 2009, it was with a clear vision and intention. By the way, when we say that I am the founder of Ahava, I didn't do that alone. Many of you sitting in this room worked your butts off to create this community, whether it was pulling nails out of the floor or praying every day. It all mattered. And your contributions mattered. To create a community was what we wanted that was supported by love and cooperation, along with dedication to the truth of oneness and a sacred place where people could be free to believe without being told what to believe. Every decision, every action, every gathering must be measured against the vision that you hold. And we all knew that each one of us played a pivotal role in the creation of something beautiful and something meaningful, something sacred and rare, a place we all belonged and were accepted for who we were. And we knew that we were in it together. As the last Sunday of the year comes to a close and Ahava stands at a crossroads, and you do, you stand at the pivotal moment of change right now, where familiar rhythms are shifting and roles are evolving, and the road ahead isn't fully clear. I am inviting us all into a deeper question. What is the future this community chooses to build together? I invite us all to see the target together. Let us pause long enough not only to move forward, but to see forward. Not to react to change, but to shape it with intention. And what this means is listening deeply to each other, creating space for every voice at the table, not just the loudest or the most familiar. Transition is strongest when it is co-created and not imposed. Imagine the future that you want, not just the future that you fear or the future you inherit, but the future you as a community choose to bring into being. Naming your shared values and goals so that every action you take is guided by something bigger than individual opinion or habit. A community without shared purpose is a group of archers firing blindly into the night. And let's make this vision known and honored and lived, not just whispered in meetings, but echoed in our actions and our invitation to others. Anchoring ourselves in love and treating this transition not as disruption, but as a regeneration of a shared life and vision and mission. Committing to supporting each other with a sense of belonging and compassion, remembering what you take for granted you will lose, but what you are grateful for will expand and flourish. And I leave you with this. Each one of you is the keeper of the light. Each one of you is the keeper of this community. As Ron Fox wrote in Science of Mind magazine, step into your life with confidence and the belief that you have a purpose for being here. And as Eric Butterworth wrote, within me is the unborn possibility of limitless living, and mine is the privilege of giving birth to it. As a community, it's time to step into the possibility of limitless living with a new vision, letting go of the past and any resentment you may still be harboring. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. And step into the light, clearing the way for the divine's greatest idea of Ahava to emerge. It is your privilege of giving birth to it. Peace and blessings, my friends. Let's go into prayer. Thank you, Belle. I invite us all to just take a moment to breathe in all that has transpired here this morning. Take a moment to embody what it would feel like just for this moment to not want for anything, but to be grateful for everything. To be grateful for the person sitting next to you and behind you, in front of you. To be grateful and to not worry or think about any lack or limitation, letting Spirit fill you up in this moment, recognizing that you are indeed the one that Spirit has been waiting for. Allow yourself to be fully present in this moment with your heart expanding, with your soul being called to this new vision. Because you are here in this sanctuary, because you are sacred and you are holy. Why? Because you are here. The ground that you walk upon, the ground of beingness, is your legacy. So I invite us in this moment to remember the truth of who we are, made in the image and the likeness as that very beautiful, amazing love that we call Spirit, the divine, God, Jesus, whatever it may be, Buddha, Krishna, Allah, Moses. It doesn't matter what you call it, because it lives and breathes itself as each and every soul in this room and far beyond. I know there's power in presence as love. I know it as oneness, prosperity, abundance, peace and joy and power. For the power is in the people. I know this power and presence is that which creates out of itself, never being diminished by its creation. This power and presence that is fully orbed as this community here and now and forever. And it is through that truth, through that knowingness, that I speak this word for this community, knowing that it is unfolding with a new vision, that it is flourishing and standing in the power of the presence of truth, standing in the power of belonging, compassion, standing in the power of belief with a clear vision forward. I know that each person here steps up with talent and treasure, with faith and commitment, as the very life that God is calling them forward. I know and I see with a grateful heart that all is unfolding to support, sustain, and maintain this community in every way, financially, spiritually, wholeheartedly. I know right here and right now, as I call this place home, that it is home to way more than we even know in this moment. As the doors open to a new threshold, as we leap into this moment of faith, knowing that all is well, that all is well, and we release and let go of anything that no longer serves our higher good. And we stand in the power and the presence of gratitude, knowing that this expansion cannot be held back. How grateful I am. How grateful I am to be here in this moment with all of you, speaking the word and the truth, the everlasting principle of love. As I release my prayer into this perfect universal law, knowing that the law always says, yes, 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 my beloveds, yes. Standing in the power of yes, the place I lovingly call grace, as we all say together, and so it is. Yes. Thank you.